ref. That's he got the ball. Oh. Good afternoon, Tottenham fans. Welcome back to the Irish Hotspur with your boys, Dave and Jack. Slightly earlier than what we usually run the fan show ahead of these Europa League games. Have to go an hour earlier tonight because I do have to be off by 8 p.m. because I do have somewhere I need to be by 8:30 this evening. But this is your time of the week. You can come on and have a conversation with us. You know, we spoke yesterday about the injuries. You know, can you attribute it all to Ange, or does the medical department need a lot of, you know, investigating with how many players have gone outside the club? You've all heard that discussion. If you want to come on and have your say, feel free about that. Also, Kevin Danzo injured. Ben Davies is back. Who do you want to see at centre back tomorrow? Many people saying they want to see Archie Gray in the number 6 in midfield. Let us know if you feel strongly about that. And also, the under-17s have congratulations to them. They're in the under-17 Premier League Cup final, a competition we won a couple of years back, and they've their opponents have been Charlton Athletic, who have pulled off a shock. So, you know, congratulations to them. There's also been another protest organised in April, on April the 6th. If you want to come on and have a conversation about that. And, you know, Postecoglou's future, depending on the result tomorrow. The question's out there. Tottenham have been linked to Inzaghi. He's the latest manager we've been linked to. And, you know, the question was put to him today, does he deserve to be sacked? So what I would say is the pressure is mounting. So if we don't come out the right side, let me come on and speak to us. Let us know what you think should happen after that game. And also, Tottenham Hotspur have frozen the season ticket prices for next season. So if you feel strongly about that, come on and have your say and anything else about this great club. I know James Maddison had an interview today with Sky Sports saying that he's been scapegoated. So again, if you feel strongly about that, feel free to have to say. The link for all you fan show members is up in the community section. Simply just go there. Sorry, it's now called the posts section. Just go there, click on the link, and it will bring you in. Jack, anything you want to add on to that? Have I covered everything?
No, I actually think you did a good job if people don't want to chat their entire, 10 minutes or so about the game tomorrow, you actually did bring up some other good little details that, could happen. Actually, a big surprise is that, Daniel Levy has frozen, the season ticket prices. Is that a sign of the fact that maybe he isn't as tone deaf as we all like to think? He still is, I think, to some degree, but, maybe he has somewhere with all that, this isn't, the right time to make that sort of increase. Also bringing up the injury situation. It's not like, the conversation yesterday was about like giving an Ange a free pass or anything like that. But, you think about, the injury troubles at Spurs, are they a lot deeper than maybe we've given it credit for? A lot of it has just been put on Ange's doorstep. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. And some other little bits and pieces, if you want to maybe distract yourself with some under 17s, we had a season like that before where we kind of, use maybe the success of the youth academy as the sort of, I don't know, positive, sort of from the season. So actually, Dave, fair play to you to find some other things, little bits and pieces, for people to chat about.
No, look, there's always stuff to talk about when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur. Also, a little bit on Matisse Tell actually today. I was reading the Football London article, 5 things spotted. Apparently him not really being at the right intensity, in training today and stuff like that. I found that sort of interesting. So a few things put out there. You can, of course, come on and have a say on what you want. If there's anything you want myself and Jack to answer, again, feel free to come on and ask us them sort of questions. Let's welcome some people in at home and let's crack on. Big up Rhino. He is in the back end. We'll be speaking to him second. Tango Bin Al-Sheed says, back the manager, back the owners. Come on, you Spurs. I think it's hard to do both at this moment in time, Tango, to be quite fair. Birdos halftime smoke. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. K32, big yourself up, brother. Enjoying your holidays, hopefully. Stateside Footy says, good afternoon, gentlemen. I hope all is well with you. Work sucks today. I thought I'd take a break. Why not? Why not, lad? Everything sucks when Tottenham ain't winning, lad. William Webb says, big up, guys. We will win today. Onwards and upwards together. Come on, together. Oh, yeah, it is today for you over there in the other side of the world, my man. So look, hopefully we can get up for this game and hopefully we put in a good performance. Big yourself up. Shawnee Mannix says, I'm stuck at work, so no appearance, but I'm curious if we have any new opinions. Big up, Shawnee Mannix. Well, look, hopefully you don't get stuck at work too long. Look, the longer you are stuck at work, less time for you to develop your FIFA ability, is what I will say. More chance for me to go in there and take your CDM place. So maybe I'll get Elon to start giving you overtime work and, I can start taking your CDM spot. Any new opinions today? Okay, from fans, I presume you're seeing any new people coming on. Big up, Mr. Marquez. Sláinte, Jack and Dave. Hope all is good. Good to see you, my man. Sláinte is hello in Irish. You're absolutely spot on. Big up Eugene in the back end. Excited to speak to him. We've got Shem, Tam here, Jack and Dave. Where's Jack's flat cap? Starting to think someone's stolen all of them because never see them anymore. Look, maybe Jack's getting fed up with the flat cap. Maybe Jack is branching out and wants his own style now, Shem.
Sorry. Saving it for tomorrow, Shem. I'm saving it for tomorrow. I'm going to use it tomorrow. But today, just going to go normal. No reason to build up the superstitions yet. Going to use it tomorrow.
No, big up, Shem. Good to see you. Got Ben Kaufman in the house. Good to see you, Ben. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. Who else have we got here? Tartan Spurs. Good to see you as well. Hopefully you're keeping well. Make sure we're not missing anybody here. We've also got Eddie in the house. Where's Mikey Moore? I mean, look, that's the big question, right? You could bring out a book now, like the Where's Wally, Where's Mikey Moore? It's becoming disgraceful. I was actually only speaking about this to Jack already, on the members preview. It's sort of like, I don't understand it. You look through this Europa League, and without Mikey Moore, we wouldn't have got the points to get out into the top 8 and end up playing AZ Alkmaar. I know you go back to the 1-0 against AZ Alkmaar at home and earlier on in the season, back in October. It was him that took the game to them. It was him that helped us go and win that game that night. The fact they didn't get any minutes off the bench against AZ Alkmaar, didn't even appear on the bench against Bournemouth. I mean, it's not good enough. Look, I know there's been some suggestions, maybe is there a slight knock? I'm not so sure, but for me, if he's fit, you've got to use him tomorrow. There's no point in going with Brennan Johnson. The name of the game is to break them down and create chances first and foremost. He's not going to do that. So I want to see Udeber or Mikey Moore out on that right-hand side, Eddie, tomorrow. Big yourself up. Hopefully you're keeping well. Dave, are you doing a watch-along for the Under-17 final? You know what? I might. Do you know what? It could be like the contest season. It might be the only success I get this year.
Yeah.
So do you know what? I am actually. I will do one. If it's being shown, I will definitely do it. Big up, Shawnee. We've also got Big Mike in the house. Big up, lads. Great to see you. We've also got Milton Nobregas. Says good morning from Australia. It's 5:13 a.m. Thursday morning. Smash the likes, peeps. You must be absolutely pumped up for this game. Milton, waking up in a great mood. Good to see you, sir. We've got Dennis in the house. Agree with him. We're absolutely decimated by injuries this season. No one of manager could do better. It's obvious. Look, I've always taken into account the injuries. You even look at the extent that Man City have fallen off because of their injury crisis this season. The reality is, though, they've got much better squad players at their disposal than what we are. So they've been able to maintain fighting for a Champions League spot. So I do agree with you, but we need, now that they're back, there is no excuses. We've got most players back now. There's no excuses. And I'll argue it doesn't look much better. Big up, Destiny. Good to see you, evening, lads. Hopefully you're keeping well. K32 says, really looking forward to watching the Madrid derby tonight. Should be class. Yeah, I forgot that was on, actually. That's going to be a cracking game of football this evening, actually. An absolute belter that will be. And the Danish Yid. Come on, you Spurs. Good to see you. But look, let's kick it off. Let's get it going. First and foremost, let's bring him on, the Dermotron. Dermo, how are you keeping?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you there for a minute. I thought, oh, Jesus, what's happened here? And I really
you can hear us now, Tron. How are you feeling?
I can hear you now. I had my headphones on the wrong setting, so I do apologize. I was listening to Dave there. I was getting buzzed up by what you two were saying. And Jack, as I was saying, I just got off the phone to Amazon. The new James Bond role will be on the post to you by the end of the week. They will be expecting an answer, and they will be wanting Dave to play the villain. So there you go, lads. That's what you're doing for the next 2 years.
Okay, that'd be nice to have that sort of security. But Tron, ahead of tomorrow, sir. Nervous, skeptical, positive. How are you feeling? Are we going to be able to get past this AZ side, or are you maybe not so sure?
Look, you got to be confident, haven't you? You got to be positive. You got to be up for it.
What brings you confidence? What brings you confidence?
Being positive is not going to get a fan a result. On what you've seen this season, do you believe the team is going to get over the line?
Yes.
What gives you that confidence?
Because I just got this feeling, and I've had it since the start of the year, we're going to win the Europa League. I just got this feeling. I just feel that we're going to do it. It's 41 years since we last won the UEFA Cup. I just feel it's our year. I just feel that we can do it. And if you can't believe, and if you can't have a dream, or you can't, the dare is to do. I'm following our motto. And from the start of this Europa League, I've dared to dream that we can get to the final and win it. Now, I could be proven.
Do you think we have enough quality, though? Like, the aim of the game tomorrow is to go and break down AZ Alkmaar and create chances first and foremost before we even dream of scoring, which we have sort of proven to a large degree consistently this season and last season we struggled to do. Do you think we have the quality in the forward line to break that down? And what forward line are you expecting to see tomorrow?
I reckon we can. We're at home. Why can't we not win? And I think the forward line to me tomorrow would be Sonny, Solanke, and Odegaard. I think that'd be my.
Coming out?
He'd be on the bench. He'll come on later and he'd get one in later.
You don't think Ange is going to go with him? Because I think Ange will. I think he will be starting tomorrow.
I don't think so. How he played on Sunday, he was woeful. I think he was woeful Sunday, and he doesn't deserve his spot. There's no room for sentiment tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's do or die. Tomorrow hinges on our season. Either our season dies tomorrow night, or it keeps going because we've got to the quarterfinals. I can't be anything but confident. I am so up for this game. I am so buzzing. And I know we haven't had the greatest of seasons. I know we haven't played well. I know we've had our ups and downs. But I'm put for one game. I'm giving it 110% tomorrow night. And if we
get what you're saying there, Mo, right? I get what you're saying. The reality is I can sit here and give it 110% tomorrow. The reality is it's all based down to the players on the football pitch. It doesn't really matter what sort of attitude we come in with as a fan.
It's based on everything. It's based on the players on the pitch. It's based on the fans as well, to get behind the players, to make it a fortress. It's based on all of us. It's all of us tomorrow night that's going has to have to get behind the team. We have to do our bit. The fans have to do their bit. People that are going tomorrow night, the players have to do their bit so the fans can feed off what's happening on the pitch. And Ange's got to do his bit by getting his tactics right and getting his team selection right. And even if we do lose, Ange will be there to the end of the season. I think they will not get rid of him. I'd be very shocked if they get rid of him between now and the end.
Can I ask you a question? What sense? If Ange is going to be there to the end of the season, then that means he's going to be there next season, right? That's the only way you keep the manager there to the end of the season. So what sense does it make to keep a guy in charge for the last 10 games of the Premier League if he's not going to be there next season? What benefit does it give the club?
I think the only benefit would be if you sack your manager, you want your new manager coming in. Then if that's the case, then that gives him 10 games to work out what's good for his squad, who's out, who's in. There's no point
I get what you're saying
Ange
on that. I get what you're saying on that, Daniel,
yeah.
But the manager that we're going to be getting, right? People are hoping it's someone like Iriola, for instance. So you're going after a manager that's at a club that still has something to fight for the last 10 games of the season. Why would they walk away for that to come to Tottenham Hotspur?
I don't want Ryan Mason in charge. I just don't see the point.
That's what's going to happen.
Well, I don't think it will. I think he'd be here to I'd be very surprised. Look, it could happen. We know Levy's got a reputation for doing things off the huff. I get that. But personally, I can't see it happening. I don't want that. I'd rather look. Ange's probably got a clause in his contract that if he doesn't get Europe, I think you said it yesterday, Dave. I think or last night or at some point. I think I heard you saying it.
I didn't say that's confirmed. That someone else asked me.
No, I'm just saying.
Put it past Levy to
no, I wouldn't be surprised. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a clause in his contract that if you don't get Europe, then it's cheaper to sack him. And I think you might as well just wait to the end of the season. Make sure your manager who you're bringing in, get all that done. So the day you sack Ange Postecoglou, the next day you bring in your new manager. There's no point sacking the manager at the end of the season or now. Bringing in Ryan Mason. What's that going to achieve? I want us to finish high up in the league as possible.
I fully get what you're saying, right? But, take yourself out from a fan. If to not get a proper judgment on what we think is going to happen, you got to put yourself in Daniel Levy's shoes, right? So if you're Daniel Levy and you don't see Ange taking you into next season, then once we go out of the Europa League, there's no point in letting Ange Postecoglou take charge in the next 10 games because it doesn't do anything. Then you also go, well, okay, I'm going to target a manager that's probably at a club doing something successful to, and bring him in here. But the managers that we're targeting are going to have stuff left to play for. So they ain't going to leave their football club to come to Tottenham when we've got nothing left to play for. So the reality is, whether people like it or not, you are going to have Ryan Mason into the end of the season if you put yourself into Levy's shoes and the decisions he has to make.
Yeah, look, I know there's a shortlist been already drawn up. I know that. I do know that for a fact. I've been told there's a shortlist being drawn up for an replacement for Ange. I've also been told he won't go until the end of the season. Now, that could change. We all know football's a funny old game. Anything can change from 1 minute to the next. We know that. and Levy has made some weird decisions, sacking Poch and hiring Mourinho within 6 hours. Sacking Mourinho for 6 days for a cup final. So we know he can be unpredictable. We know he can be really weird. I get what you're saying. Why keep a manager around? But maybe he will
That's
keep
not being
around.
weird. That's just sense. Why would you pay a cup?
Yeah, but maybe it's cheaper for him. If he's going to sack him, maybe he says, well, if I wait at the end of the season, it's going to be cheaper for me to pay him off than it is sacking him straight after sacking him before the end of the season. It could be down to money, for all we know. It could be down to at the end of the season, he's then only got 2 years left in his contract. So there's probably a cheaper option at the end of the season. Now, I'm not saying he may get rid of him if we go out tomorrow night, early next week, or during the international break. That may well happen. We just don't know. But personally, I think that I think the way I look at it, if I'm in Daniel Levy's shoes, is I will, if it's cheaper for me to the end of the season to get rid of him, that's what I'll do, because it's going to save me a few quid. And we know Daniel Levy's all about saving money and being a cheap.
I get what you're saying, but 10 weeks in the difference in terms of the money we're talking about, it's pittance in terms of the money they're dealing with. So I get what you're saying, but I'm just thinking from a football perspective, if he's not going to be here next season, there's no point in letting him see out the season. He's a dead man walking for the last 10 games. It's absolutely pointless. But look, who knows what we're going to do? Who knows what we're going to do? Jack, anything you want to ask Dermo before we let him go?
How do you think the players feel right now, Dermo? Do you think they're going to pretty much be fully motivated for this game, or do you think there's seeds of doubt inside the dressing room, with this massive game ahead? Will they show up for us, right? Of course, everything's about the manager, but it's also about the players being able to do their part. Do you think the players are going to step up and deliver tomorrow, or do you wonder if they're already kind of feeling the seeds of doubt?
I think, like what Vicaria said in the press conference today, he's really up for it. He seems like we have to be together. He was saying all of us players have to be on board tomorrow night with the fans. I think the majority of the squad's up for tomorrow night. The likes of James Madison and people like that, I think some of them have checked out for Mange already. But I think I think majority of the squad are really focused on tomorrow night and getting a result and getting us through to the quarterfinals. Look, if we do win tomorrow night, I don't see us going any. Look, I think if we get Lazio, I think that's going to be really difficult. We may get Frankfurt in the quarterfinals, which is not an easy game either. But I just feel we're going to win this. I just feel this is our year. I just feel that it'd be so Spursy to have the season we've had, and I hate the word Spursy, to have the season we have for them players to get it all together and get to a final and win it and get into Champions League. It'd be so Spursy. But look, what do I know? I'm just a delusional Tottenham fan that thinks we're going to win everything every season. And look, if we win, I'd be cock a hoop. If we lose, I'd be disappointed. But I'll always back my team and always back the mighty Spurs. So look, 100%. It is what it is.
100%.
We can't do anything less, but be up for it and be ready for it and be ready for the fight. And that's what it is. We have to fight for this. We are Spurs. We are Rise. We will win. And that's what it is.
No, look, I think everyone's hoping that's the case tomorrow. Let's wait and see. But Norma, just before we let you go, can you give us any names that you think is on that shortlist?
It's score prediction.
Look, I think the Bournemouth manager's on there. The Inter Milan manager's on there as well. And I think there's 3 other, which I have to go. I'll let you know, Dave, because I can't really say on there.
Can you give us a name that's not already been out there in the news, though?
No, this is something different. I can't really say much, but I know there's a 4-man shortlist. But let's put it this way. Also, I think also Levy wants Paratici around as well, because there was the AC Milan link with Paratici. Don't be surprised if there's a change in the director of football either in the summer.
No. That better happen. That needs to happen. If that doesn't happen and Ange's in place, I have no hope for next season or for as long as he's here. He's another Steve Hitching.
I tell you who is behind that, Zaghi, is Paratici's behind that Inter Milan. He wants him at Tottenham.
So be interested to see if that happens, because even with his playing career and his manager, he's never been outside Italy. So it'll be interesting to see if he makes that jump. Anyway, look, Dermo, people, please get over across. Check out THFC Till I Die. Are you live this evening?
No, I'm doing some pre-records, doing my predicted lineup, and I'm doing my covering Ange's press conference as well. So that'll be out later. I'm fair play to Levy for freezing ticket prices. Did they bring the concessions back as well?
I
Ooh,
didn't.
good question, but I'm not too sure. I doubt it.
Yeah,
Maybe he's found some way to save money, over the, with recent.
Just don't forget, Jack, when you get rich, famous, going for your Oscar with you and Dave, don't forget the little people that helped you get to that big role. So don't forget us.
I don't see any movies in our future, Derma, but appreciate it, man. And to be honest, what I'm looking forward to is maybe that rumor of the Don Fabio coming back. That's really what I'm looking forward to more than anything. Sean, class as always, sir. Thanks for getting us started.
No
Big up,
problem.
John.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening, and come on, you Spurs. 4-0 tomorrow night. Jack has for score prediction 4-0.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Speak to you tomorrow.
Come on. See you later.
Have a good one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Great way to get started there. Nice and lively with Dermo. Big up, just a harmless potato.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Mary W as well. T.O. Isaac, great to see you in here as well. Hopefully you're all keeping well. But look, let's keep it moving. Jason Bell as well sneaking in here. So Parateach's probably had his fill of working for Levy. You never know.
Maybe he likes the challenge.
Well, I would say if I am Parateacher, I would demand an apology from most of the fans who jumped on the crook, this, that, and everything else, and now we're calling them for him back. I'd say if you want me back, apologize. But anyway, look, let's keep it moving. Who's on next? Rhino. Let's bring on Mr. Trestain. Let's hear what he has to say. Rhino, how are you, man?
Yo, mate. Things.
Keeping well?
Good.
Not very smiley today. What's up with you?
I'll have
to tomorrow?
No, do you know what, Dave? I sent you a message earlier, and I'll have to on WhatsApp. I don't know if you saw it or not.
Yeah, I responded to you.
Huh?
I responded to you.
Oh, do you know what? It must have been after I turned my phone off, then, mate. But anyway, I'll have to talk to you about it off air, mate, on a WhatsApp message later or something, and we'll go into it then. But
how you feeling about tomorrow?
Do you know what, right? If it turns up that we're gonna put in a performance, then fine, fair enough. If not, then Ange deserves absolutely everything he gets coming to him, to be honest.
So you think he will be sacked Friday morning if we don't progress?
To be honest, you know what I've said all of last season and all of this season. I've wanted this guy gone for the last 18 months nearly.
Well, or so. 21, so yeah, 3 months in, you wanted him gone. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, after the first 10 games, so whenever the first 10 games, it must be about 3 months or something like that. But anyway,
have you any manager that any managers you would prefer to see come in here? Because look, in fairness to you, you have sort of been consistent with your, I wouldn't say hate your questioning of Postecoglou. So is there any manager that you do think can come in and get better out of this squad as it is?
Well, there's one manager that I've said from the get-go, and I think and you just mentioned you and Dermo just mentioned it.
Iriola.
There you go. And I've been consistent with that as well, though.
What do you have? What do you think he's going to do differently at Tottenham that maybe Ange just failed to do then right now? Sell him to me.
Okay. Right. First thing, we won't be playing a high line. Van der Ven's hamstrings won't be gone every 5 minutes.
You don't think Iriola plays a high enough, to a degree, high enough line? It was pretty high against us.
Yeah, but the difference is he can adapt as well, though, Dave-O. Let's put this for example, right? Take the Arsenal game, for example, yeah? Right? I think it was the one at the Emirates where we was extremely high, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Right? But let's take that for example, right? If we was a goal behind you, right, at the Emirates, Iriola wouldn't be playing that high line. He'd be making us defensively solid and counter-attacking at that point, and he wouldn't be having these.
But is he a counter-attacking manager, though? Is he not getting praised for his aggressive, on the front foot sort of football? Isn't that not what he's being praised for? The fact that Bournemouth are playing, good football and that they are pressing up high. There's this sort of thing put out there maybe around Iriola that he adapts on. He's got more higher turnovers in the final third than Tottenham Hotspur, and we're second in that. So, you'd argue he's probably more aggressive than Ange Postecoglou to a degree, no?
But no, because he knows when to push when to go for the high line and when not to. There's a big difference. Ange just constantly plays up to the halfway line.
Yeah, look, I take your point. I have seen him in games, maybe when near the end of games, if the game's in the balance, drop a little bit and stuff. I do take that point for sure. But again, I don't want to sell it to people that he's going to come in here and he's going to play a low defense, because he's not. He's more aggressive on the press than what Tottenham Hotspur are. He tries to play out from the back, to a large degree as well. It is going to be very similar. It's just, is he going to we're hoping that maybe he can get his message across, to the players a lot better than maybe what Ange Postecoglou.
Do you know what is weird as well, right? Because I see Iriola as more of a Poch type of manager, and that's something. And that's why he's loved in the Premier League. Like, and I just saw that question that Poch is the answer. Yes, but he's not going to come back under this regime. That's the problem, right? Where if we had someone who's of Poch's ilk, like an Iriola, for example, because don't get me wrong, he's played.
I know you praise of Iriola, but you're not you're not concerned that he gave up a 2-0 lead to a Tottenham team that have a very sort of shit attack. You say like he's going to see games out and all, but he gave up a 2-0 lead to Tottenham. I didn't see him do that indifferent to consolidate his lead yesterday.
No, I get that, but it's because we played that high line all the time, and the problem is, right? Look, this is the problem with Ange, yeah, right? And this is the biggest problem I've got with Ange. And I will tell, and I'll still be consistent about this because I've said it all the way through. It's that high line. He's too high, and I'm sick and tired of it. I've been sick and tired of it from after we started going down. We went up like that as starters, and then we've gone right down.
I would argue, right? I think the difference between Iriola and Postecoglou is one manager's been backed and the other hasn't. And I know you're going to throw money at me, but if you look at Bournemouth's recruitment, Kirkes, Evan Ilsing, Kluivert, they're players that have been around Europe, played in Europe. They've recruited good. You look at a lot of our recruitment, it's been nowhere near as good as Bournemouth's. So I would argue, is it a case that one manager has been properly backed and the other hasn't?
Right. I'm going to say this, right? And this is probably going to surprise you probably more than anything, right? Get Iriola in, and then whilst we're getting Iriola in, let's get these clowns out. Except for Don, the big Don, that I like to call him as.
Where were you on him a couple of years ago, just out of interest? Were you calling him a crook a couple of years ago, or you always backing him? Yeah.
I was backing him.
Okay, yeah, no, just asking.
Yeah, no, I was backing him. I loved the big Don. I don't care what.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, because I don't care what he's done. If he could literally, right? This is just hypothetically saying, right? I'm not saying he's ever done this or he ever would, because I don't condone it. But he could go out, yeah, right, and actually rob 10 banks, yeah, right. And I still want him in the club because he's the biggest, right? He's like I don't know if I can actually say this word, but tell me if I can't say it afterwards, David. It's going to be a bit late. He's like the shithousery.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, of directors of football. He's that shithousery of director of football, and I love Don. I want him back. I don't want this stupid lounge or mung or whoever this mug is up there at the moment. I want them all gone. But and when we get if and when we get Iriola in, right, I will give him 5 years. I want him to have a good chance of being backed. I know it's not going to happen under these clowns, but if we can get these idiots out and then get someone else in, right, and I'm prepared to take the risk at the moment. I would want Levy to sell and then literally have anyone come in to take over and then back Iriola fully.
Look, I think that's the biggest problem at Tottenham Hotspur. I think you go back and look at the managers that we've called, or many fans have called for, to be sacked at this club. Jose Mourinho went on to win something at Roma. Nuno, look what he's doing at Nottingham Forest right now. Conte, look what he's doing with Napoli. And this is what I say. It all comes down to what the club do with these managers rather than their actual ability to manage. They've proven elsewhere they can manage. It's what they do at Tottenham. And I hate to say it, but to a degree, I think it could be the same with Iriola to a certain degree if he comes here. A manager is only as good as far as you're willing to back him. And I would argue, Bournemouth, I think I heard the owner on, it was a TalkSport or an article came out where he's been saying that he's going to give everything to Iriola to try and keep him there. So it'll be interesting to see, what decision is made there. But Rhino, big yourself up, my man. We got to keep this moving. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Yeah, just quickly though, Davo, just before I go, right, I think there's just two quick things I wanted to say. One, I think from what I've been hearing on the radio, I don't think the players want Ange at the club anymore. That's the first thing. And
interesting you say that, because I was reading an article today from Jack Pitbrook, I think, and he was saying that there's nowhere near this sort of animosity there was under Conte and Jose and stuff like that.
And then the second thing, sorry, Dave, I'm just because I want to get the second thing, is that I honestly think that if we do get a result, it's going to be a 1-0 win and it's going to go penalties, and then we go through that way.
I don't trust Tottenham Hotspur in a penalty shoot. I can tell you that now. Look, let's wait and see what happens. But Ryan, big yourself up, my man, and we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, much love to both of you. You two look after yourselves.
Have a good one, Ryan.
Will do.
Have a good one, Ryan. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Well, look, we're going to keep this moving. I'm enjoying these conversations today. I'm actually enjoying pushing back on people today a little. Usually I'm a bit nicer than that. I'm really enjoying it. But we are going to keep it moving. We've got Rufus next. Then we've got Eugene, Big Mike, and then Brad Matthews. Like I said, guys, we will be here until 8 p.m. and then we do have to sort of round it up. So if you do want to come on, click on that link, get yourself here in the background. But let's keep it moving. Let's bring on Rufus. Let's hear what he has to say. Good evening, Rufus. How are you, my man?
All right, mate.
You're looking very good, my man. A lot better than the last time we seen you. You're making a full recovery?
No, I was in hospital 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
you had to go back, I think.
Emergency operation, just got back.
Jesus.
Well, Spurs isn't the healthiest of distractions.
Egg opened again.
Oh, no. Sorry, man.
Well, look, at least you're still plowing on, my man. I mean, look, where are you at with Tottenham, in general right now? And how do you think we're going to get on tomorrow, buddy?
I don't know. I'm a bit indifferent because like I said in the warm-up room, it's like you got Big Ange saying he doesn't know he hasn't got his first 11, and then when he gets his first 11 or near his first 11, he sits most of them on the bench, It just seems all a bit weird and a bit.
So you don't buy into the hype, right? That because Postecoglou's always maintained, once I get my players back, you will see. I'd argue, we've had the players back a couple of games now. I don't really see it improving to a large degree. So you don't believe that, given a couple more games, this team is going to go out there and play this sexy, fluid football?
I think we'll go through tomorrow, but I think we'll go through on just being a bit lucky and working hard, but not on glorious football, That I sort of don't see, I think the biggest Alkmaar, bad away form, Very bad away form.
How bad is that away form?
I don't know, but then again, Ipswich had fucking. Oh, pardon me. Ipswich had one all season, It was sort of like Crystal Palace. Nothing like this had happened to them before, All season we seem to be giving people points, so I don't trust the feeling that we're going to go through tomorrow just because they're bad on away form and we're good at sort of home form. It's
did a bit of a
we're not perfect at home form.
Did a bit of belief get killed in you, Rufus, when after Thursday night? Were you going into the last Thursday game, the first leg, confident at all?
I was a bit more confident, but I just didn't really see much. It was just sort of like a really weird team selection.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did a proper follow on. I couldn't do it at hospital, so I had to watch on BBC. Just watch the text. But I don't know. It was just like the next day, I sort of like looked up some highlights, and that we just didn't play that well, you know.
In terms of team selection tomorrow, I mean, is there any players that you think shouldn't be playing if we're looking to go and win this game, and any players that you think that has been playing should come in tomorrow?
It's hard. I think Son's a hard one because he's a fan favourite. He's also team captain. But like, I don't know. I just find him a little bit slower this year, you know, for whatever reason, you know. I don't know.
Can I ask you on Son, Rufus? Do you look? I understand the sort of questions around Son, right? But for someone like me, when we were selling Harry Kane, I did highlight, you know, the partnership, how crucial it is, and that, you know, one player can't do it on his own. Do you think a lot of the criticism is maybe frustration that they're expecting way too much from Son, expecting him to do something that, you know, frankly, he can't do? Do you think we're expecting too much? Maybe do you think we over-expected too much from the sale of Kane?
I'm just thinking of how long he's been there, how much he's played, you know. Over the years, you know, like he's been involved in everything, you know, like every time Harry got injured, and Son came up front, you know, and played well, you know, it was a more joyous time for him as well, you know, or for us fans, you know, to watch him. But I don't know, yeah, I just think he's lost a little bit of speed, and maybe you have a really good point. But maybe your point is more relevant now than it was earlier this season or a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah,
where we were putting him out and he was like scoring for fun to try and get the golden boot and all of that sort of stuff. That felt really good, you know.
Yeah, we're a long way off and winning that golden boot. Imagine, you know what, 2-3 seasons ago he was sharing a golden boot with Mo Salah, and now, you know, you look at what Mo Salah's doing, and they're both the same age, by the way, compared to Son. I mean, it's night and day, really. Jack, any more questions you have for our Rufus here?
I mean, what sort of lineup would you like to see, you know, for tomorrow, Rufus? You know, a big question mark is whether he plays Brennan Johnson, you know, on the right, you know, and it's going to be probably a defensive, low block type of team. What do you think he's going to go for?
Brendan's got to sit on the side, you know.
He's got 14 goals though this season. He's the club's top scorer, Rufus.
Yeah, Dave and I have been quite critical of him, but plenty of people point out he's the top scorer. So where do you stand on Brennan?
I think him and Son are good subs, you know, for later on in the game, you know. And if there is a danger of penalty shootout, they do bring a bit with them, you know. So like, I would rather see those two as more subs and give the younger guys a go, you know.
What about Archie Gray as well in number 6, Rufus? A lot of fans are saying this is something they want to see tomorrow.
I would like to see him at number 6 as well. Just like there's a middle connection man against a squad that traditionally is quite young as well. Before they ship off players around Europe, you know. So I mean, they're a bit of a selling club. We were for a long time, but they can put together a big surprise for us if we're not careful tomorrow.
That's for sure.
I'm 100% sure that they'll punish us if they get the chance. You know?
How do you think they're going to set up tomorrow, Rufus? You know, do you think they're going to press us like they did in the reverse fixture? Or do you think they're going to maybe sit in and look to contain what they've got?
I would actually like to sit here and say that I've seen, heard, and whatever that Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is a fortress, and it isn't. You know, it's leaks like. I
think we've only won 5 games there this year, have we? Only won 5 games at home this year, I think, is the record. It's not that much of a fortress for us this year.
It's like it's something that we with a new boss, and I leave that to everybody else to speculate. But like where we need to pick up and turn it like the old White Hart Lane used to be near the end, a fortress, you know, where people really feared coming, you know, you know, like
Yeah,
So,
no, you're fine. You're
we
fine.
won't laugh about it, you know. Like other teams, we might laugh about Spurs, but we don't like going there, you know.
Mm.
Do you think Ange is justified to have criticized maybe the atmosphere in the last game against Bournemouth?
I think people are just getting a bit tired of him, you know. It's they're not getting a proper feeling for him, or they're not getting the feeling he's going to stay. I don't expect he'll be there next season. I mean, bloody damn surprised if he is, but I can't see it.
Mm.
Yeah,
we'll get somebody else in, but I can't see him getting sacked either. You know, I'm a bit on Dave's side here. You know what he was saying earlier. You know, like who else are you going to bring in? You know,
Yeah.
what else are you going to do?
Exactly. I just don't think. I don't see any. If you're getting a manager that's at another club, I don't see him walking away to come here for 10 games. I just do not. I think it's madness.
And I don't see anybody that we really want on the open market. You know,
well, we're starting to get to the realms of like Big Sam and Sean Dyche. I'm pretty sure they're on the market.
Yeah. Do you think Spurs are becoming less and less attractive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels a bit like Dave was earlier talking about F1. You know, it feels a bit like Williams at the moment. You know, like I'm away down Williams' career. You know, it's sort of like You know, I remember it being up here, but like at the moment, it's down here, down here.
Uh-huh.
Down here.
Yeah. I think Dermo's a big F1 fan, and it's probably not a bad comparison. Well, Rufus, is there any other final things that you had on your mind before we let you go?
Well, keep truthful, stay happy.
Give us your score prediction.
3-1.
Okay.
Spurs?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, Rufus, also say hello to Jacob for us, by the way, as well. Hopefully Jacob's doing okay.
Say hello to Jacob. And look, from me, Jack, and everybody here at the Irish Hotspur community, you know, keep up the good fight. Keep us updated, you know, in the chat and everything else like that. We're all with you, so keep us up to date on your progress and keep the good fight. All right.
All right, mate. Take it easy.
Big up, man.
Much love, Rufus. Thank you, sir. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah,
thanks, mate.
Legend.
See you, brother.
soon, my man. Oh, absolutely great to see Rufus' face. Look, this guy has had.
It's gone through the wars.
Yeah, a time that you wouldn't wish on anybody, actually, to be quite frank. You know, it's actually really sad to see someone go through such a hard time like that. So everybody, please wish Rufus very well.
He's got a pretty brave face.
And the best wishes and a lot of love. Yeah.
It's got a brave face, you know, and kind of a bit of a, you know, a positive, you know, sort of vibe in his voice and everything too. So the guy's a strong man. You can tell he's a very strong character. And also, you know, his son has got the best mullet in all of West Germany, by the way. So the mullet has probably become very popular over the last year or so. So Jacob is probably quite happy to be a trendsetter, as probably Rufus is as well. But big up to that guy.
And I do ask people, you know, through times like this, it can be tough. So if you do see him in the chat and stuff like that, please always drop him a message and ask him how he is and stuff. Big up, Rufus. Keep up the good fight and come on, you Spurs, my man. But look, let's keep this moving. And guys, keep putting them in the chat, your well wishes for Rufus. I'm sure he'll read them and take great encouragement from them. If only you knew what he was going through, you know, it's absolutely madness. But look, let's keep it moving. I think we've got Eugene on next.
Yep.
Let's hear what Eugene has to say. Good evening, Eugene. How are you?
Hey, boys. How's it going?
Keeping well?
Good. Yeah, no, I'm hanging in there.
You must have a full selection of caps. Every time you come on or I see you on stream, you've got a different color on.
Just a couple.
You've got a few. Well, look, this is your time. What would you like to speak about, Eugene?
You know what? I've been positive most of this season, but last week's game to me, I think. Like the last Thursday's
the Alkmaar game or the Bournemouth game?
Thursday's game, the AZ game. I mean, for me, that had to be the worst performance I've seen in years. So, and the funny thing is, before that, we didn't play for a week, so I forgot how bad we were. So I was excited, actually. I thought, you know what, we're going to do some bits, and it was shocking. So that broke me, I think, completely. So now I just feel like the league is done. It doesn't matter. We're not getting relegated. We're not making Europe. And honestly, even if somehow we win on Thursday, which I don't see us doing, but even if we do, I just don't feel like we're going to be better teams given just the way things are. So I'm pretty down at this point. It's like I feel like I did under Stellini and Mason. It's like I just want the season to be over and just something to get me excited again about the next season. Because right now it's it doesn't look good.
Absolutely, I'm sort of on board with that. I mean, I find it. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sitting here and I hope and I want us to get to the Europa League final. You know, being in that Champions League final, I think I speak for everybody. Greatest time of your life. You know, greatest time of your life. And I do want to get back there, but I almost feel like, you know, it's hard to get up for this Europa League run because I just don't think we're that good as a team at all. You know, and I think, you know, you're coming home unstuck against someone like AZ Alkmaar. Even if you do get through, Frankfurt, Ajax, you know, Lazio. I mean, you know, again, I sort of agree with you. It's hard to see us really having the quality to play these teams off the park. So I'm sort of with you on that, Eugene.
Yeah, it's like I never root from a team to lose. Obviously, I want to win every game, but then I'm thinking about, you know, more anxiety and more just sitting through these performances. All I know is I'm not waking up at 4 a.m. anymore to watch games. I'm going to record them and just watch them on replay. Just it's been rough. But
so Thursday was just a big letdown for you. It sounds like, you know, you maybe went into it expecting, you know, a good result, and then just the complete opposite happened. Yeah.
It's not even, Jack, it's not even a result. If we play well, like in the beginning of the season, you know, it was really engine, you know, I was backing the team because we weren't getting the results, but it felt like we were playing well.
Yeah.
And it's just our lack of quality and execution that we didn't win those games. But now I'm just looking at how we're playing, and it's not even the results. It's like the Thursday's game. It felt like a pickup game. It's the 11 players. They've never played with each other before, and to me, it boggles my mind where we're 2 years into this project. Not only we still have lack of defensive shape, which, you know what, it is what it is, but it's frustrating. But even offensively and in the midfield, Ange is supposed to be, you know, that guy who makes us score goals, but looks like we're out of ideas. The players have no idea where to move, where to go, how to play off the ball. And to me, it makes no sense. Like, how come we can put in decent performances and players seem to know what they're doing and play well and would see some patterns of play, but sometimes they're clueless. They have no idea, you know, where to be, where to go, how to move. And
do you know what, though?
Like, it's frustrating.
Do you know what, though, Eugene? For me, like, I fully agree with you, but, you know, I also question how badly do the players want it. You know, it's all well and good us sitting here saying we want it, but it's the players that have to deliver it at the end of the day.
For sure.
You know, and you go back to Basuma skiing before last week's one, even though he should be wanting to fight for his place to play in Europe. And, you know, you've got James Maddison and Son before the warm-up or during the warm-up in the Bournemouth game, dicking about, making jokes while everyone's trying to get ready for the game. You know, and this is your attitude coming into this game. Then you have Maddison today saying he's been scapegoated. You have Matisse telling training reportedly not being at the right intensity and, you know, sort of getting a bollocking in today's training. And I just sort of see all that, and it's like, do you know what? I can sit here and want it all I want. But the players we need to turn up, none of them care. They don't want it. They can sit there and say these things, but actions show completely different. They don't want it.
No, I agree. And that's why I'm so down. Because again, I've been, you know, supporting Ange this whole time until maybe like a month ago. Even though it's not all on him. But the reason why we're like in the mud, as the kids say, is just our players, as you said. And I've been on our players from day one.
You have. Yeah.
They're just not only they're not good enough, like I can live with us not getting a result and just saying, you know what, other team just outplayed us. Their players are better. But looking at our team, we do overhype our players. They're not great. We have no game changers. We have no elite players. But I just want to see some effort. For example, with Bergval, he makes a lot of mistakes. He's too rash, but I can see that, you know, that kid wants to win. He is brave. He doesn't hide. He wants to make something happen. And our leaders, our senior players, just don't want it. They're not putting in performances and they're not fighting for the badge. And I've seen that before. I've seen that under Conte. I've seen that under Jose Nuno. So a lot of it is on Ange, obviously tactically, but the group of players that we have, especially the core of players, don't have it in them to win. They're not winners. And what scares me a bit is I really rate Archie Gray and Bergvall, our youngsters. And I just feel like having Madison and Bissouma on the team, they're not going to teach those youngsters how to be the pros that we need. And I feel like there might be some bad influences. Like Madison, you know my feelings on him. He's a luxury player.
If they want to
He's a
put
front
the
runner.
darts and all, he's a great example. If they want to get dart nights out and that in future, they know where to go.
Yeah, so it's just, and that's why, you know, when people talk about Areola and different managers, I'm not like, if it was only a manager in my eyes, then I'd be positive. I'm like, you know what, next season we go again.
Yeah.
But just looking at this group of players, from Romero to Bissouma to Madison, even Benton, like, I just don't see how we can turn this around in a year or two, just given the way we do our transfer business and with the way we back our managers. Like with the Ange, and that's why, like, I'm looking at our transfer business. When they hired Ange, they knew how he played. They knew that he needs a deep squad due to all the injury history that he has. And playing 2 games a week for a long time, given how thin our squad is not sustainable. Yes, Ange is at fault for a lot of the injuries, given the way we play and train and his lack of adaptability within games. But our squad is thin. Everybody knows that, and that's on the board. That's not, on any manager. So I'm just looking top to bottom. The only positive I see is our kids, and I'm really concerned that we're going to screw that up. As they don't see any leaders to look to for how to be the professionals, like in this league. And also, just getting away from Ange, like every team, like if you look at Chelsea last season, Palmer was a game changer. Like if you look at Eze, there are some poor teams, but they have one game changer. If you look at Man U, I hate Fernandes.
Yeah, that's a good example, though. He carries them.
I don't rate him at all. I just hate the way he carries himself. But if you look at their goals, he's the one who steps up for them in big games. Good point. We don't have anyone like that.
I completely agree with that last
point. Guy, and he's not. Son was supposed to be that guy, and he's not. We don't have any game changers. We don't have any players with moments of brilliance to lift us up. So if you look at that, and then if you look at our tactics, we just, we don't have anything to give me any confidence going forward.
I think that's a very good point you made there, Eugene. And also, I mean, maybe this hasn't been brought up very recently by Dave or I, or just as much, in recent weeks or something. But it is interesting that you said that maybe in the beginning of the season, there was a lot of belief from the fans that despite maybe dropping points and losing games, we felt like we were the better team in a lot of those games and those performances, and that we were just being hard done by a lack of finishing and just poor individual mistakes and whatnot. But then all of a sudden that feels like it's kind of changed in the last kind of month or two. You wouldn't really say that that's been the case. And I don't know if any of us have an answer fully for that, in terms of what happened. But that is actually interesting context for the season, that maybe in the beginning of the year, nobody was really that worried because it kind of felt like we were playing well, just wasn't really getting what we deserved. It's not really the case anymore, which is a very interesting point I haven't thought about actually for a while.
Yeah, and as I said, I really felt like, given the way we play, we were getting unlucky, but I felt like we could do some bits in Europe. But again, it's like these players have never played with each other. They don't understand what Ange wants them to do. And that's the piece that's concerning. If the manager cannot get through to the players, regardless if it's them or him, it's just not working. And that's the frustrating part.
For me, I just question, are they good enough to do what he wants to do? And I think, if you bring in someone like Areola, I think,
similar problems.
We'll probably get your answer. Do you encourage similar problems, or does it look a lot better? But usually,
Areola, Oh, sorry, Dave. With
no,
with
no, okay.
Areola, it's funny too. Like I think his name was mentioned by a couple of people on YouTube, and now everybody's talking about him. Like what I've seen from him, he plays the high line. He has a lot of the injuries. He hasn't won anything. And the funny part is, if you look at Nuno, if Nuno wouldn't have managed us before, a lot of people would be asking for Nuno, given that he's third right now in the league and he's doing better than Areola. And we all saw what Nuno did. So some managers, they do well for mid-table teams, given lack of expectations. And there might be good coaches, but to manage a bigger side, just coaching is not enough. So Areola or Nuno or anybody else, I just, I'm not super excited about it, saying, oh, that's the guy. I want to see a proven winner come in.
Well, I'd also argue, the recruitment for them managers has been actually pretty good, compared to ours to a large degree as well. Like for instance, you look at the recruitment that Forest have done to Nuno compared to the recruitment we done for Nuno, and we wonder why they're getting much more out of Nuno than what we did. You know what I mean? And this is why I'm not really going to get hyped over any names. I'm saying this to John, I'm not really going to get hyped over any names that come. I'm going to sort of sit there for the first year, because the first year I expect that a new manager bounce to a certain degree. For me, it's all about what happens in the second year, because that's where things go tits up under every single manager, because you don't do the right things to implement and help them kick on. And that's proven actually, like, by Nuno, what we done for them and what Forest has done for them to a large degree. Anything else you want to touch on before we let you go, though, Eugene? It's been a great conversation today, man.
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys as always. Again, I hope I'm wrong, and I've never been negative. I'm always trying to be positive, but last month or so just took all the positivity out of me. And maybe we get lucky, maybe we'll put some results together. I just don't see it. And so at this point, the only thing I want to see is I want to see development of our youngsters. So if Ange doesn't start Spence every single week, and if he doesn't play great at the 6, at least in some games, I'll be, fuming. Because at this point, especially in the league, we have nothing to play for. So just play the kids, and I want to see them develop. I don't want to see Basuma. I don't want to see, even Bentancur. I don't care if I see him or Madison. I just want to see the kids play in their positions. No more Archie Gray at center back, especially since Van der Ven and Romero are back. I know Danso's out, but I just want to see them develop. So at least next season, we know if they're good enough to actually contribute. That's what I'm looking for.
I absolutely agree with you in that, lad. I think, if you do get knocked out and you've only got the 10 games of the Premier League left to go, right, you're not going to get relegated. You're not going to get Europe. I think we're already like 9 or 10 points just to try and get even inside the top 10. So I sort of agree with you. It is a test, throw the youngsters out there and see who's good enough to build around this club going forward, because you also have to start forward planning, because you are going to lose some of your best players to clubs that can offer them European football next season. So you're going to need some of these guys. So I sort of agree with you on that, Eugene. Look, absolutely great points today, mate, by you, Eugene. Absolutely spot on, and we'll speak again very, very soon, buddy.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
As always, Eugene.
Come on, you
well
Spurs.
Done, sir.
Big up, Eugene.
Come on, you Spurs.
Do you know what? I think Eugene said a lot of.
My eyebrows raised when he said the thing about, like, in the beginning of the season, because I said more or less similar things. I think a lot of fans said similar things, that even though we had some poor results and some drop points in the beginning of the season, it did feel like, a lot of us were saying, well, we've actually been the better team, though. Like, we should have buried this chance, should have put away that chance. Porro, Romero were making individual mistakes that were leading to us getting punched in the mouth and, getting a goal against the run of play conceded. And it doesn't really feel like that's the case anymore all of a sudden, like things have actually changed. And that kind of raised my eyebrows, about sort of this season, kind of brings you back to what we were saying in the beginning of the season was very different to what we're saying now, which raises a lot of questions for sure. Big up, Eugene.
Yeah, no, big up, Eugene. And the thing is, look, he's sort of like me, you have the optimism and stuff like that, but, coming towards the end of the season, it's just becoming draining. It's not negative, it's just what you're seeing on the pitch. It ain't getting it better. It ain't improving. And he's absolutely spot on about, likes of recruitment and stuff like that as well. Do you know what? I actually think Eugene has a lot of good things to say in general. I even listen to him when he's on other channels and that. Big up, Eugene. But look, let's keep it moving. We're down to the 2 last guests. The link has been up for an hour, guys. I'll leave it up for another 5 minutes. Then we will be taking it down. So if you do want to come on and have your say, make sure you go to the post section, click on that link, and it will bring you in here. We'll leave it up for another 5 minutes. Apart from that, we've got 2 guests left, and it is Big Mike, and then the one and only Brad Matthews. Weird to have Brad Matthews as ending off, actually. But that's the way it's going to be.
He's on a tight schedule, Brad, like us. So, he's usually in through the door.
Usually he's taking kickoff, not waiting for the final whistle. But look, let's keep. We think Big Mike is next. You know what? I haven't seen this dude around in a long, long time. And you know what? Let's bring him on. Let's see what you
face,
say.
Big Mike. Thanks for coming on.
How's life been?
Yes, lads. What are you telling me? Yeah, I'm good, man. How you been?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I know we check in with each other every once in a while. Since the last time we sort of throw a text to each other. How's life been? Good? Improving?
Yeah, it's been all right. It's been busy. But yeah, I thought, you know what? Got a bit of free time. I'm going to hop on. We got to talk about Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? We just got to discuss it, man.
Absolutely buzzing. Look, give us your summary of Tottenham over the season. How you're seeing it, how you're feeling, where you need to go from here.
Well, I'll keep it family friendly, so I won't say the words that I want to use, but it's been very, very poor. Shocking, to be honest with you. I don't know. For me, I'm just going to say where Ange lost me. I've been trying to back this guy. Mm-hmm. I believe and want to believe in everything that he said at the beginning. I believe we do have to go through some pain to go forward. Yeah. But I'm sorry, the Everton game, that was me done. We were 3-0 down in like 30 minutes or something wild, yeah? They haven't scored 3 goals in like decades. Like, it was some mad stat, like, especially in one half. It was some mad year. When I heard, I was like, well, I don't even know if I was born. Anyway, I forgot the year. It was ridiculous. I said, nah, you know what? I can't. It's just something's not right. Even if I think the players are kind of like us a little bit. Like, they want to believe in what he's trying to bring, yeah? So, it's hard to say, the players aren't playing for him when we're 2-0 down at home to Bournemouth. They could just like say, whatever, let's lose 4-0. But they didn't. They pulled it back. By hook or by crook, we pulled it back, right? And sometimes that's important. But yeah, I just think Ange, I'm sorry, Ange, I don't want to say this about you. I think you're a good guy, yeah? I want to first say that. I think he's genuinely a good guy. But I think you're a con man, bruv. I think you come in there and he sold us all a dream. Mm-hmm. And now I'm sitting there like, even if he wins the cup, boys, I think we should still look to replace him.
I saw that.
And the chances of us winning the cup here is less than 1%. And that's being generous.
Yeah.
I can't. You guys like me who've been watching the team for a long time.
Yeah.
In all honesty, yeah, how confident are you feeling tomorrow night, 8:00 at home?
I'm not. I'm just waiting for my heart to start thinking. Right now, it's my head that's thinking, Big Mike, and it's different. I know what you're saying.
I'm not even expecting us to create chances tomorrow night, even though that's the aim of the game, right? I think you were going to struggle to create chances tomorrow night, Big Mike. I'm not confident whatsoever. I sort of take my mind back to NS Mora, Patros de Ferreira, Dynamo Zagreb. The manager was in prison. He wasn't even on the sideline. We locked their man down and beat them. Do you know what I mean? And I
forgot about that.
These scenarios unfolding ahead of us. Look, can Tottenham surprise us on a once-off? Yes, we've seen that in moments this season against your West Hams, your fucking Man Cities, your Man Uniteds. But the reality is that's been too few and far in between. And I've always said coming into this back end of the Europa League, Jack, I've been saying it to you, that, the idea that people think we can just get by in the Premier League and then turn it on for Thursday night. It's not how football works. If you win a cup competition at the back end of the season, it's because you've got the momentum. It carries over from game to game, and that's where I think we fall short. But Big Mike, I know you sort of said about the players as well, but I also question a lot of their hunger to go and fucking win this, man. You don't have to get on with a manager or like a manager to just put your differences aside and go and share a common goal and lift the trophy,
Yeah, no, well, yeah, literally, I agree with everything you said. And the one point that stood out for me was, you mentioned MS Mora, the other games, yeah? We had a better team. We had a better team then. I can't remember Harry Kane in prime, Son in prime, plus whoever else, Moussa Dembele, if we're going to go back to the Champions League final, which we as a club, yeah, it's not on the players or the manager. It's from the top. Like, I'm sorry, the board has to get called out as always. Yeah, no matter what positive steps they've done, I will never forgive them for sacking Jose 5 days before a cup final. Serial winner. He's in a cup final. I'm literally like...
And they put Mason in charge. Mason.
We might as well just forfeited the game, honestly.
Yeah.
And every time I review that game back in my mind, yeah, Man City couldn't hit a barn door that day.
Yeah, I remember.
It was destined for Jose to win that game 1 or 2-0. It was just set up for us to win that game if they turned up in the same manner, which they probably would have, right? So for me, the board, and even before that, but that last decision there, that's when they're not serious. The one time you're backing a manager, it's the wrong guy. Why didn't you back Poch, Jose, Conte? These three guys, Poch, obviously, because he got us here, he deserves to be backed. Jose, serial winner. Conte, serial winner. And now we got, I'm sorry, this fraud. I'm calling him out. This fraudulent guy that's sitting in our dugout. And I'm like, bro, we're making the same mistakes for week in, week out. AZ Alkmaar, Man United, Man City. It doesn't matter who we're playing. It doesn't matter who we're playing. I'm telling you now, all you got to do, this is how you beat us. Low block, have two people sitting up top, right?
Yep.
Kick it long. If they win the 50-50, it's a 2-on-2 straight away. If we're set up and it's slow, just play it wide, cross it back post. There's going to be nobody there. There's going to be nobody at the back post covering. I'm sorry, I've never seen tactics like it. When it was working, it was like, wow, yeah, we're decimating teams. Because people haven't figured it out. They probably couldn't believe how ridiculous the tactics were. That's why we won those first 10 games at the start. Because it was just wild.
Can I ask you a question, Mike?
Of course, man.
If we had a better midfield, do you think this system could work? And the reason why I asked that is, right, listening to you speak there, I sort of take my mind back to the Pochettino era, right? Great attacking football, everybody was happy with. And when I was at games, one thing I did see is that the fullbacks used to be pushed high and wide. They were a lot further forward in Poch's system than what I would argue what they actually are in Ange's system. But, you know, you look at the midfield we had of Wanyama and Dembele. And Wanyama
exactly, yes.
Between the centre-backs, which sort of...
Straight anchor. Yeah,
as your straight anchor, and that gives you that added protection. So do you think the midfield, to a large degree, you know, if we were to get a better midfield, do you think this sort of style of play could work? Now, look,
I don't know. Like it's
that because Postecoglou has changed the midfield so many times since he's been here. I think only 4 times in the last 44 games he's had the same 3 midfielders out there.
Well, look, all right, let's just go back to the team with Wanyama. So, look, I'm no mad tactician, yeah, but let's just try and analyze it a little bit. So, Poch's system, even though it was attacking, it was set on a foundation of discipline and defense. So you had the Belgian barrier and Wanyama, and you always had at least 3 people covering. Wanyama's job was simple: win the ball back and give it to Eriksen. And then Eriksen's going to pick out some kind of pass, and that's how we were quite potent in the attack. Yeah, Dele Alli making deep runs, so it's hard to track that kind of movement when he's running from the midfield into the box. So we had options of scoring goals. I think the attacking football's not too bad, but it's too congested. Everyone's trying to invert into the middle. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. Like, even with the way that we're playing, if we're going to have 2 marauding fullbacks, you need at least 1 or 2 anchors, really. Probably in today's era, you probably need 2 6s now. If we had Wanyama and Dembele that were doing their role for Poch and having the fullbacks doing whatever they're doing, it probably would work, you know? I guess Basuma, like, it's funny, yeah, when I look at managers' comments at the time, yeah, and I don't see it as a fan what they're talking about. But Conte called out Basuma. He said, the guy's a bozo, basically. He has clown moments. And it's 100% true. It's 100% a fact. It's a fact. Basuma needs to prove me wrong. He's probably right now getting high on some laughing gas. Yeah. So
at the beginning of the season as well, right? Not even like, you know, at the end of the season, you know, when there's nothing to play for, literally at the very beginning. Mike, can I ask, you know, something you touched on earlier that, I mean, to be honest, I don't even know if I know the answer to. You said, like, you know, the players are a bit like the fans, where they've clearly maybe been trying to believe in it, but we just keep losing games and we're not getting over the line. That is the confusing part to me, is even on Bournemouth, you know, like, we were 2-0 down, could have been 3-0 down, 4-0 down, but it felt like the players are still running and they are still trying. So why is it, you know, it's kind of different. It doesn't feel like they're actually throwing him under the bus or anything. You know, that's kind of the confusing part.
I think, like, you know, the players are young, right? So they're going to be hungry for any Premier League team, in my honest opinion.
That's probably true.
You know, when you've got 18-year-olds, if I was 18 playing for a Premier League team every week, I'd be gassed. Yeah, I'd just be like,
that's true.
Living the dream. You're living the dream regardless, you know? And then you've got your Romero and maybe higher age and also quality-wise, their heads are getting turned. And why wouldn't they be? Why wouldn't they be? At the end of the day, even if Romero came in and his first touch on the ball was give it to the Bournemouth player. That guy was trying to throw the game. I don't want to hear about long time out. No, that's basic, bro. Just don't give away possession cheaply. That's got nothing to do with match fitness or sharpness. I don't know what he's thinking. So, maybe some of the players aren't playing for him. Maybe that's why, Maddison looks angry to me.
Yeah,
he's getting subbed off at critical moments when we need creativity.
True.
That's Ange's fault. I can't blame the board for that.
Yeah.
So basically, it's not actually like one thing's the problem. Everything's the problem. We've just fallen apart. And that's why, at the end of the day, I just can't. Obviously, we can beat. I know I've changed the tangent here a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm ranting. I obviously needed this. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm ranting right now. Yeah, but I've got to get off my chest. So we could beat AZ Alkmaar tomorrow night. Yeah, but what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. I can't remember who's still in the competition, but
all it does is just leave you with that little bit of hope, right? That's all.
Exactly.
That's what we're clinging on for. That hope that maybe we can defy all the odds and win it, right? That's all it's leaving you with.
And the board ain't sacking him. They're going to save the money. Like, the league's done. There's no reason to pay him off on compensation. We're not going to get relegated. The 3-4 teams below us are dreadful as well.
Yeah.
So it's just, we're in this driftwood situation. We're just in the middle of the ocean on some raft drifting like Tom Hanks with the football Wilson. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. So I'm concerned, like Johan Lange and, Scott Munn and, Fabio Paratici, maybe not, whatever, he's part of the club still.
Yeah.
Do something. You need to actually do something and get some experience with the team. Stop. I like Semenyo and some of these players, yeah, but are they really, really the quality that we need to be challenging for top 6, let alone top 4? Like, the teams that are growing around us, they're getting stronger. Villa's getting stronger. Newcastle's getting stronger. Chelsea are going to come back. United, you never know. Man City are going to come back. Liverpool's stronger. Arsenal's stronger. That's like 7. Bournemouth's currently stronger. It's just wild. Like, I didn't actually think this was going to happen. I didn't see this coming. Because if you look at the start of last year when we got Ange, it looked good. But then you got to go back to the Chelsea game when we had 2 red cards. And the guy just said, I don't play any other way. So once every manager knew that, they just said, well, the way to beat us is low block, frustrate, counter-attack, ping it up top, space in the width, cross it back post, goal, goal, goal. It's just absolutely insane. We make the same mistake week in, week out. I don't want to hear about, obviously the injuries are a problem. But I believe a better manager would do better in the league and in the other cups with this set of players. That's what I believe. So, sorry.
I hear that point, Mike, but I question to what extent. I actually don't think this squad is as good as many people make it out to be.
True.
I think, I think the recruitment under Postecoglou is being piss poor, and to a degree, I think he sort of suffered the way Conte and Jose did. Conte and Jose were all about defensive systems. We went and brought Joe Rodon for Jose Mourinho to work with. Under Conte, we didn't really sign too many defenders to go gung-ho in the back line to really improve his situation. But you had Kane and Son at the other end to bail him out. Then we bring in Postecoglou. We sell Harry Kane, for an attacking system. And it's like, fuck me, this is what the guy's been waiting on since Pochettino. And now you go and sell him. And it's just like, we're constantly getting things wrong under the manager. It's like, we see what the manager's strong point is, and we go, okay, we'll give you bang average areas for your strong point of your system, and we'll give you the rest to work with behind that. Go and make it work. But you can't do that. Quality matters. And this is something I've been trying to say since the summer. I've been honest this summer. I said, look, this season is going to end in spectacular failure because we didn't do the business to really kick on from last year. Last year, I would argue, Postecoglou, to a large degree, demonstrated what he could do, demonstrated how he could get us through an injury crisis by finishing 5th. But then this summer, we made such piss-poor decisions in the recruitment. When the same situation comes around again this season, it's sort of like we don't have the answers to it and stuff. And for me, I think to a certain extent, I think the manager will come in and initially get more out of it. But I argue to what extent, is it this squad, and team good enough to really go on and get into top 4 with how other teams are recruiting around us? I don't think so. Is it good enough to get over the line? Because in a cup competition, because the reality is, in a semi-final or final, you're always going to come up against a Liverpool, a Man City, an Arsenal, a team like that, because they build squads to be there, to the depth. And whenever we come up against them, we always lack the quality. It's not for the want. It's not for the heart that's out there in these games. It always comes down to the fucking quality. And that's, for me, where we're always let down. And that's the biggest thing that needs to change, if we really want to push on. Because the reality is, Mike, I don't think we hire bad managers. I think, like I was saying to Eugene and some of the other guests, Jose Mourinho, Conte, Nuno, Postecoglou, they've all demonstrated elsewhere what they can do. But at Tottenham Hotspur, they look, and that's for me why I struggle to really go after all the managers. I think the problem is more inherent at the football club. But like I said, I do question to what extent will a manager really kick this squad on next season without a desired, more investment needed yet again.
It's true. I mean, I can't disagree with anything you said. I agree with everything you said. There's obviously some deep-seated, rooted problem maybe before our lifetime. We're witnessing its growth. It's accelerated. It's rearing its ugly head at potentially one of a critical moment in the Premier League where there's a transition happening. Teams are pushing forward. I don't know. Like I just can it. I honestly believe Ryan Mason might do a better job than this guy. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm not saying to bring him in, by the way. That's not what I'm saying. No. But I'm just saying, like, I'm turning up on the weekends and Thursday and whatever to watch this dross. Yeah. This is awful. Now, I know they've done tools for the other managers, you're right. It's definitely players as well. And obviously, we lost a lot of our leaders. Like Harry Kane was a leader. Probably Eric Dyer in a weird way was a leader. So it's, and then you've got Son, Maddison, and Romero. And all three of them don't look happy. And they're the leadership team, right? So at least Romero and Maddison don't look happy. Son's trying, but is off form. So maybe that's making him a little bit unhappy. Maybe the true lead, when I look at the leaders in Tottenham right now, I look at Spence. I look at Archie Gray. I look at Lucas Berger. I know he's made some mistakes, but he picked himself up. He was trying. Do you know what I mean?
Vicario.
So they're trying. Yeah, Vicario, definitely. Without him, like I was starting to doubt him, like when Kingsley came in. But no, 100%. Vicario's better. Like, in terms of shot stopping, he's better. So we need that right now because we're conceding so many chances. I don't know the answer. That's the problem, lads. I don't really know what we do, but I just can't see it working under Ange.
The reality is, I think, you're absolutely spot on. I think, does even Ange want this to continue next season? Do the players? I don't think so. I think, it's naturally coming to an end. Once you start seeing other managers being linked, we've all been here. But the reality is we're actually experienced of being in this situation for the last few years, for the last 4 or 5 years since Poch. We all know this feeling. It's coming to an end. But I just think, what I'm saying there isn't in the defense of Ange Postecoglou. I'm just trying to point out, I think, yes, we do need to change manager moving forward into next season. But we have to start taking stock of where the club are failing these managers. A manager not lasting 2 years and out the door every second season. We've got to look into that. So in order to help the new manager move on, rather than make everything his problem, because, people make the transfers his problem, the injuries his problem, everything else his problem. The reality is, it's like, okay, if you're making him the problem, then why do we have the problem with the ownership? If everything is the manager's fault, then why do we even have a problem with the ownership? You know what I mean? And in order for us to really get progress, you need to put pressure on the ownership for them either to set up or make changes to start helping these managers really kick on. Because the reality is, we're one of the richest clubs in world football. We're in a great position in terms of training complex and stadium. We'll have the best, probably the best for the next 20 years moving forward. We just need some ambition around the fucking football club. You get some ambition, you'll be surprised what things can happen. But anyway, Big Mike, what's your score prediction for tomorrow, brother?
Well, I'm going to back the team, obviously, man. We have to win the game, man. We've got to win it by 2 goals. So we're going to concede, man, 100%. So 3-1. I'm going to go for 3-1 in 90 minutes.
The arsehole will be twitching like a rabbit's nose, lad.
Listen, don't quote me on that prediction. That's my heart. Don't ask me for my head. I'm not even going to put that online. So we're going to look. And for what it's worth, he was right what he said in the press conference. Like, we need to go in with belief as a crowd. Whoever's there at the home ground, which probably ain't, hopefully you're watching this or working it around, spread it out to anyone go in there. You've got to go in, back the boys, no matter what, through thick and thin. When that whistle blows at the start and finishes at the end, back the team. I don't want to hear you can do the leave it out if you want if we're losing there, but back the team, because we need to try and, by hook or by crook, I want to still try and win this trophy.
Try to do
the bookies touted us as we have to. So if we can do that, great. But yeah, I'll leave it at that, man. It's been good to see you. But I want to ask you guys a quick question before I go. Yeah,
go ahead.
If you were in charge, yeah, what would you do? Would you sack Ange at the end? If he wins the cup, do you keep him? See how the first sort of 10 games go again? If he loses tomorrow night, do you sack him straight away? Like, what would you do if you were in charge?
I think you personally, if he loses against AZ, there really is nothing left to play for the rest of the season. So I think you do sadly bring in an interim manager or something like that personally. If he wins the Europa League, I think you have to give him, the chance, in the following season, because no manager has done that in X amount of years, right? So it's just, that would be a miracle in itself. Maybe, the writing's still technically on the wall, but that would be such an amazing triumph that I would maybe delusionally give him, more time, whether you think that's the right idea or not. That's my answer.
Yeah. No, I sort of agree with Jack. I think, if you go out tomorrow night, there's nothing left to play for. If you don't see Ange being the guy next season, then there's no point in keeping him for 10 games and prolonging that sort of the inevitable, right? I think you've got to make a change, and I think it will be an interim between now and the end season. If he does win the Europa League, he's the most successful manager since we last won it back in the 80s. So for me, I think, and once you win a trophy, I think a lot of people's mindset will actually change. And I think, because right now, in the period we're in now, right, people are of the opinion, even if we win it, maybe we should still sack him. But I can tell you now, once you win it, everyone will be singing his name. We're shameless as football fans.
It's true.
Everyone will be singing his name and saying, you know what? Got to give him a chance. Most successful manager in 30, 40 years. But the reality of that happening is, like you said, 1%. So see how it goes. But Big Mike, speak for everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Having you here this evening. I want to see you more around here. You know that. I've said this to you before.
Come on.
Hopefully we can make it work going forward, buddy, yeah?
Listen, hopefully if things go right this year, you're going to see a lot more of me. I'm going to try and, been talking about it, going to try and create this channel. I'm trying to find time. And, I'm going to get my opinions out there, do what you guys are doing, love what you guys are doing. Also, try and support you guys. Everyone smash a like, subscribe, membership, support the lads, get it done. No excuses. Come on.
Thank you, Mike.
And just before we let you go, how's the son going? How's he keeping?
He's all good, man. Everyone's good. Family's good. Everyone's blessed, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Legend.
Come on.
Big Mike, speak to you again soon. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, my Jews. Take it easy.
Come
on, you Spurs. Do you know what? I've missed that fucker.
Good energy.
Mike. Yeah, me and Big Mike, we sort of every once in a while, every couple of months, we sort of send out a message, see how each other are and that. So big up, Big Mike. Really like that. Really good. People are saying a great guest. Absolutely. Big Mike's a busy guy, though. Really busy guy. But look, let's move on to the last guest of the evening, I think, Jack. And that will be Brad Matthews. And then we will be ending off because I do have somewhere to be this evening. So let's bring him on and let's hear what he has to say.
Good guy to close on. Close on, Brad. Hi, Brad.
Hello, guys. How's it going?
How you keeping?
Yeah, not too bad. I wasn't very well last week, but I've got through it. So
good. What was wrong with you? Sickness bug or?
Yeah, sort of a stomach bug that I think is going around at the moment. It's not very nice, but I'm back and firing now. So not too bad at all.
Good. Absolutely good to see. I mean, look, I feel like I've been hugging the whole fan show. Jack hasn't got a word in edgeways, so I'll probably give you one question. I'll let Jack, fire a few at you and have you get his aura in here. But how are you feeling about tomorrow, Brad?
I think we're going to sneak it. I'm looking forward to it. Unlike Bournemouth, I went to the Bournemouth game and I think it was just another league game. We're not going to be relegated. We're not going to get probably any higher up the table. And I think that the team seemed to play the same way as I was feeling. But tomorrow, I'm really up for tomorrow. I think we really, as a club, need to support the lads tomorrow from minute 1 to minute 90. I'm hoping, my prediction is we'll sneak it. But I'm hoping, I really want us, or I think what we should do, we should get this game done and dusted by half-time. Just put the strongest 11 out there. If you're thinking of playing Romario and Van de Ven for a half, play them in the first half. Why is
our strongest 11 though, Brad? Because I keep hearing this, but I sort of, when I look, I actually don't know what our strongest 11 is, because is some of them youngsters including that? Is the strongest 11 based on age and experience?
My team tomorrow will be obviously Vicario in goal, and Kingsley did a great job when he came in, even Forster in his moments. But I think we've seen how we really missed Vicario in the last year since he's come back. But I would play him. I'd play probably Spence Out of Spence will definitely play, and the other part will go to either Porro or Doggy. I'm not sure which, but that'll be my fullbacks. I believe Danso is injured, so you've got to go with Van der Ven and Romario. And as I said, if they're only ready to play a half, well, then make sure they play the first half and get the game won by half time.
Yeah.
My midfield would now. This is I don't want to see Basuma anywhere near the ground tomorrow.
He felt the same way.
Yeah.
Nowhere near the ground. That's even harsher
well,
for me.
no,
I
I mean,
said it
obviously,
not be in the ground.
It's probably got to be on the bench, I guess. But no, Bentancur's is suspended, so I think this is the perfect opportunity to play Archie Gray in that sort of number 6 role. And
is it a risk though, Brad? He hasn't played there all season.
We've gone past this stage of risk days. Tomorrow we've got to win tomorrow. There's no getting past that. Archie Gray has been one of our best players this season. He's played in defence, so a defensive midfield role. He's going to be defensively minded. And then I think I'd play the other 2 midfielders. I'd play Maddison and Bergwall because there are 2 creative players that we've got. Whether Maddison is 100% or not, when he is on form, he is very creative. And Bergwall, again, has been one of our better players. And on Sunday, proved it when he came on. In a half, he was virtually man of the match. So I'd play those 2 players.
More creative than Bergwall, though, I'd argue, Brad. In terms of goals and assists from that midfield, I'd argue Sarr is a lot more creative.
I think Sarr is a very good engine, and if he played tomorrow in place of Bergwall or Maddison or Gray, I wouldn't be moaning about it. I think he's a very good engine, but I think tomorrow we've just got to go for it because they're gonna sit back. We know they're going to sit back. We just need to go for it. And up front, you've got to play Son, you've got to play Solanke. And on the right, anyone's guess, really. It's going to be either Odeberg, Tell maybe. Tell didn't play Sunday, maybe Tell. Maybe Mikey Moore didn't play Sunday either. So
I'd be very surprised if Tell plays tomorrow after reading what I read about training today.
Oh, really? I haven't read that, to be honest, David. So, but yeah, I think
bollocking very early on for the lack of intensity in that in training. So,
okay.
If you're watching training, that doesn't strike you as a guy that wants to start, right?
Yeah. So then you got Mikey Moore, you got Odeberg. You just want to attack. You're just gonna basically go. And this is what's really disappointing me about Tottenham lately. We start so slowly now. We start so slowly. We just got to go for it tomorrow. Just go straight at them, go for the juggler, get the crowd really involved, get the game won by half time if you can. Because if we don't, if it's 0-0 at half time or 1-0, the crowd are going to get restless. The crowd are going to get nervous. And I on Sunday, I noticed it very much so. When the crowd don't like what they're seeing, the players react. The players make mistakes. They look nervous. They look scared. But if you're behind them, they'll hopefully come back. But yeah, I think tomorrow we've got to get it over by half. But for a start, I don't want to be watching extra time and penalties.
Yeah.
For us,
Thursday night. Fuck that.
Yeah, but I mean, I've got a half day tomorrow, so I can get to the area nice and early. I've got a day off on Friday, so I can enjoy the aftermatch.
You can have a good game. You can have a good day.
Yeah, have a good beer, and then not have to worry about.
You're clever about that, Brad. In the win or loss scenarios,
I had a day and a half to use before the end of March. I thought, right, I know where I'm taking it. So,
are you meeting up with your buddies, Chris and that other guy that goes with you?
Yeah, I saw Chris on Sunday, so he normally doesn't go all the time. But my friend Steve is actually in Auckland at the moment.
Aussie.
Yeah. So, but the other guy is Martin. There's a guy from work called Ray, who I'm hopefully going to bump into, going to meet up with. And there's another guy who used to play in a band that I know that I might want to try and have drinks. But there'll be plenty of people there. I think Kev, who's on some of the other channels, is going to be there. Oh no, he's not going to be there tomorrow. No. But you know me, I'll talk to anybody.
You'll find someone. You're very popular.
Yeah. I mean, even Sean, I know Sean might be there, maybe. So I don't know. I'll be looking around, but yeah, it's I'm sort of looking forward to it in that respect, and I'm just hoping that we can beat them. Now, whether we'll go any further in the competition, I have my doubts. I think our away form at these grounds, we seem to not play. I mean, we went to the 6th best team in the Dutch league at the moment and lost. The team that we're likely to play if we get through Eintracht Frankfurt, they went to the team at the top of the Dutch league and won 2-1 at their ground. So yeah, that sort of said it all. And then Lazio are a pretty decent team. I'm not saying we can't beat them on our day, but it's going to be very, very difficult. It might be an advantage with the home legs being first, actually, because we might be able to get a good foothold in the game before we go to the other ground. There's been a lot of talk about Ange. I call it a lot of white noise. It just does my head in at times. I am having my doubts. I have to admit, I am having my doubts. I think it's a question of many things. But I think in the Premier League, you're going to come up against many better teams than you will in any other league in the world. I think you only have to look at Scotland. You have to look at maybe Spain, Holland. They've always got one or two teams, and the other teams are pretty rank. But I think in England, in the Premier League, the teams are pretty good. The managers are good, and I think all this talk about he's a fraud and he doesn't know that's just utter garbage. He's obviously got something because of where he's done, but I think he's just got to a situation now where maybe the Premier League is just a step too far for his sort of football. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. Ever since Pochettino, I don't think I've ever wanted a manager to succeed as much as I have with Postecoglou. Yeah, with Ange. But yeah, I just have my doubts. Yeah, we have the injuries. Yeah, you could put it down to that, but we won't know until the end of the season once we've got all our players back to see how we go. I think that the club, the owners have got a lot to look at from the owners, because I think I said to you on the last time I was on, we've got good players. We haven't got great players, and if you're going to win stuff, you need great players. We've got decent players in this team, but you need great players. You can imagine two top quality players going alongside Bergvall and Gray. You know, we need another goal scorer. I'm sure Solanke, again, the jury I think is out. I think he does. He's a very good focal point, but he needs to score goals as well. But we got to a situation now that, and I know we got to wait to the transfer window, where rather than getting 6 or 7 good players, we spend all our money on 2 great players, 2 quality players. Go out and spend the money. That's what we need. That's what being a big club is. At the moment, no offence to Odeberg, but when you go buy an Odeberg, when you think, Gomez is available on a free, when you buy Solomon on a free, that's big clubs don't do that. They go for the decent players. And I don't know if you noticed, the Jim Ratcliffe has said that Manchester United have made it, they want to win the title by 2028. That's what they want to do. Now, they're worse than us at the moment, but that's what they want to do. I don't think I can ever remember, apart from maybe Pochettino, who used to say that, what's the point if you don't go for the big stuff? And I think to a certain degree, I think Postecoglou's of that attitude as well. But I've never heard our board say, it's always, we want to get in the top 4. That's what it's always been every season.
But you've also never heard Daniel Levy say something as affirmative as that. He kind of, in fact, will say like, "Oh, well, we've done this, we've done that." He doesn't ever say like, "We're going to be doing this." That's a fair point.
It's just really annoying, really frustrating. And but what you're saying a few minutes ago, David, about better players, probably true. Give us a decent team and see how they play under Postecoglou's way. I think we need to on the defensive. I'm very worried our teams seem to go for us really easily. We saw that against Bournemouth. We even saw it against AZ. They do go for us really. Our fullbacks seem to leave a lot of space behind. I don't remember that happening with Pochettino.
Yeah,
I think with Pochettino, you had Walker and Rose, who at the time were probably a couple of the best fullbacks in Europe at that time. When they were pushing forward, you had your Vertonghen and Alvarado, really, really good players. But you also had initially your Eric Dyers in the centre of the midfield, then you had your Wanyamas, and they would sit back. They would come back and make the back 3.
And what that done is allow Vertonghen and Alvarado to go out to the left and right and actually sort of snuff out that danger and get back in the position.
Point.
And we don't seem to do that at Tottenham at the moment. Whether Postecoglou wants to do that way, and the players are just basically dim and don't do it. But there's a lot for these players to learn. We also need, I think, I know it's easy to say, we need that sort of Steven Gerrard, Roy Keane sort of player in the midfield, just someone who pull up the ball of bootstraps and win games. I think the guy on before mentioned, or might have been Eugene actually, mentioned Fernandes literally carrying Man United at the moment. They're the sort of players you need. We haven't got any at the moment. We haven't. We got potentially we could have them, but they need to do it.
We had one, but everyone wanted to sell them. So to a degree.
Who's that? Who's that?
Harry Kane. We had him. Everyone.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well,
that's another interesting talking point. How would this Tottenham team do with Harry Kane as a striker?
I would argue it fair much better.
Yeah, we'd definitely be finishing more of our chances. Brad, I did actually want to ask you this just because I know you go to the games. What did you make of the fact that Ange Postecoglou has been questioning, kind of the fans and, their commitment and their own atmosphere that they're generating and everything? You're part of that. So did you feel slighted or did you think that was fair?
No, I think, I mean, I've got I lived in Australia, so I know a lot of Australians. Okay, I'm English, and I know there's going to be people in the chat going, "Oh, that's why Ange's Australian." No, I'm English and proud Englishman, but I lived in Australia, and I know Australians, and he's just very, very Australian, and he says what he thinks, and I think people either can't accept that or they get insulted by it. But he's just very straightforward, and I don't think he was having a go at the fans. I think he was just sort of saying that we need the atmosphere, we need the fans to get behind us, and quite frankly, we do, And that's why I thought the game against Manchester United was very good with the fans, because in that game, despite the protests outside in the 90 minutes of the game, they got fully behind the team. That's what we need to do. But it works both ways. Yeah. The team have got to respond as well. They've got to go from minute one. They've got to start it, really. They've got to give us the reason to continue cheering them on. I don't agree with booing at half time when the players come off, but I can understand why people do.
Yeah.
But that's not sending, the players are going to hear that, and at the moment we don't seem to have a lot of confidence. I think on the plus side, I think they're still playing for Ange. I don't think they're putting him under the bus or anything like that, which they have done with past managers. So I think they're playing for him. I just really, really hope it succeeds. But I just had my doubts. But we'll have to see, I guess.
I think you're like absolutely everybody with Brad. What's the score prediction for tomorrow?
Oh, dear me. Ideally, I'd like to be 3-0 up at half time and go on to win the game 5-0. But I think we'll sneak it. I got a feeling it might be after extra time as well, just to piss me off. But I think we might. I think we'll sneak it. And if we do lose, I think that is probably the end of Ange at Tottenham. Yeah. I think the board will pull the trigger if that happens. I think we'll just sneak it in extra time. I'm not sure who our penalty takers are. Well, we looked like we had 3 penalty takers on Sunday when we got the penalty, but so I think we'll just sneak it. Oh, and Dave, before I go, it's the Crystal Palace game you're over for, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant, because I've just put my ticket on Ticket Exchange for the Nottingham Forest game, because it's on a Monday night, and it's difficult for me to get to Monday night when I've got work the next day, because I think it's on Easter Monday. So I suddenly thought, oh shit, is that the game Dave's coming over?
No.
I think we'll also as well, Brad.
Myself and Jack will be there, so you'll get to see
both be there. And we'll probably do something similar to what we did last time. Nice little meet up, a couple of days before or something like that, like we did before.
Although I can't go down to your neck of the wood around West Ham because I'm a wanted man down there. The whole entire fan base.
No, I'm West Ealing.
Yeah, he's in West London. I think
West London,
maybe
Brad
grew up in East London.
Okay.
I'm in the civilized part. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm actually from the East End, so I shouldn't really say that. But
yeah, that's how I remember. I remember you saying you're from the East End, but now you live in West London.
Yeah,
fair play.
I'll go down there'll be a search party running through the streets from me, Brad. Anyway, Brad, big yourself up, my man. I really appreciate you coming on again. Hopefully, we do get the result for you tomorrow. And people, please get over and check out.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm actually recording the new song at the moment, so hopefully there'll be a new song out in the next couple of weeks with any luck. So,
brilliant. Good man. Thanks, Brad. Also, thanks for being patient, and thanks for coming on, sir.
No problems. It's still relatively early, actually. Only 10 to 8, so it's actually
you're up sooner.
Yeah, I have to be somewhere for 8:30, so I had to go an hour earlier extra today. But I appreciate you popping on, Brad.
No problems.
A great day out tomorrow. Come on, you fucking Spurs.
Yes, come on, you Spurs. Come on, celebrate everything. Come on, we can do it. We can do it.
Big day tomorrow, Brad.
Have a good night. Have a good evening.
Rest up.
Enjoy yourself.
See you, sir. See you, sir.
Big day for Brad tomorrow. Big day out. Absolutely love that. He'd be down there early as well. Everyone wants to meet Brad when he's down there. He's such a good guy.
Very good guy. Very nice guy.
DB says, evening all. I love Ja Wobble. That's the guy that I was on with him, I think, on Last Word on Spurs. He's a character in. There's no sugarcoating that with him, that's for sure. And then we also got THSE Till I Die. Dermotron with the super sticker. What's that? Is he pumping iron or what's he doing?
I wish he's giving us the sunglasses, the cool look, Dave. Maybe he's feeling nice and calm ahead of tomorrow.
As long as he doesn't think he's Mr. Hollywood and he appears on the show tomorrow with shades, because we'll have to boot him off if he does. And I'll big up, Dharma. I really appreciate the support, brother. But look, we do have. We thought Brad was the closer. No, he's not. We have my man Levon, Kiwi Spurs TV. Let's bring him on. Levon?
Levon, I believe. Yeah, Levon.
Yeah, maybe I've absolutely butchered that. Let him put it straight. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good, thank you, guys. I appreciate your time. Sorry I came in late. But
not at all. How do we pronounce your name? Did I get it wrong?
Levon, yeah, Levon.
Levon.
Yeah, so Levon the light. Think of like Levon the lights.
Levon the lightning. Your boxing name, your stage name. That's what we're gonna call you. How are you feeling anyway, man? Where are you at?
Yeah. Probably 3 or 4 months since I've been on here, and I have turned a little bit on Ange, but I always understand the situation. Look, it just doesn't feel good when I analyze it from just my gut feeling and just the whole situation. It just makes a very tough, for me as a fan to watch. But look, I never just blame Ange purely. There's always all the parts involved, the club. But look, if there's any time to change or to prove something, not just Ange but the players, that it's got to be tomorrow night, man. So I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it, bro. But that's how.
Do you think it's do or die for Ange Postecoglou's time at Spurs?
Yeah, it is. It's even for him. Just he has to prove something. And this last year has been horrible. When we overlook the whole process, no one seems to be in form. No one seems to be in a good flow. I mean, we're talking about Jed Spence as being one of the highlights of the season, and that's not good enough in many ways. But I think for Postecoglou, for everything that he's done, and he's been, we can say he's been stubborn or arrogant, and everything that he's believed in is leading up to this game. So if he's gonna, continue to stick with what his principles and philosophy, then he needs that philosophy and principle to shine, on tomorrow night. So, it's a big game for him, I think, and we'll know, if the team back him, if the team support him, all those things that people are starting to talk about will show tomorrow night in my eyes. Yeah.
I think I agree with Jack, though. Like, when you look at the Bournemouth game, 2-0 down, could have been easy for them to give up and, throw them under the bus. You go back to the Everton game earlier on in the season, 3-0 down, show a fight back to try and get back. So they've had every opportunity to sort of throw the guy under the bus, and they haven't done that. So I do think the players are maybe trying with him. I just think with the injuries, the lack of confidence, lack of self-belief and everything else, it's really hard when your squad's in that place to really sort of take it out of that place. Look, Ange is going to stick to his system and his beliefs and his philosophy tomorrow. We know that. But is there any players that he keeps picking that you think are actually letting him down, that he's not actually really helping himself to a regard?
Bentancur, for me, just lacks a bit of energy, a bit of at times just doesn't feel right in some situations. I mean, a lot of the players just are making mistakes and errors, and Johnson, for me, still just kind of not quite what we need. I mean, he's trying to. I mean, Ange has been rotating the whole year and trying to find matchups that work, and it just doesn't quite seem to fit at the moment. He's got guys like he's had Tell and Odebert come in so late in the season that he's trying to build combinations, and it all feels a bit weird when you're watching it, because guys are making runs and then the other guy isn't passing, and then there's miscommunication across the park. So it's not like it's so much as that there's one bad player that he's choosing. It's just that he's trying to get combos going so late in the piece that it's a little bit all over the shop, in my opinion. Yeah.
And that's where I feel sorry for him in the January transfer window, because we clearly needed some a fresh spark coming in here, to sort of rejuvenate that front line. And they brought in Matisse Tell, which was always going to be a huge gamble, and that's where I feel sorry for him to a large degree. The fact that he keeps picking Brennan Johnson, even take the attacking perspective out of it. Him and Porro just don't work down that side defensively or going forward. It's a combination that just doesn't work, and I don't understand why he keeps persisting with it, because I do think ultimately he could end up costing his job, because that side is a huge problem in terms of going forward and how many goals it leaks. So, I don't think he'd do himself any favors if he picks that again tomorrow night, for instance, and we do go out. I think, he's got to be, I would argue, maybe be a bit braver and go with some of the younger players, to a degree. He keeps returning to the players that are maybe a bit older, maybe a little bit more experienced, but I'd argue they're the ones that are actually letting them down. The younger ones are actually the ones that are coming in and maybe trying to help him embrace what he's trying to do. Why do you think he's been maybe reluctant to stick to some of these youngsters? For instance, Mikey Moore, right? Prime example. He's produced for him when called upon. In Europa League this season, he's produced for him to a large degree. In the Premier League, when he's come on, he's looked better than some of the players that we're taking off that are older and more experienced. Why do you think he's very hesitant to maybe try his fate in a player like that then?
I really don't know. I mean, look, it's last chance saloon. You got to just throw it out there, man, and give it a crack. And look, Mikey's good. He's had his ups and downs, and I think behind the scenes with his sickness or whatever's happened, I'm not sure if that's playing a part. But yeah, I mean, he's relied on younger guys like Bergvall and Gray, but I'm not sure why for Mikey. But mate. It's a curveball, it's chucking Mikey out there. Just it puts the defense in two minds, and that's why my only argument with Johnson is that it's very simple to defend him. I'm not saying Johnson's an overall horrible player, but for defenders they enjoy going up against him. Whereas Mikey will take you on, take you inside, take you outside. Got a good cross too. We forget Mikey's got a good cross on him as well. Look, I'm not sure why Ange has gone that route. Maybe paid, depending on who's got the highest salary has to get paid. You know what I mean? So you got to keep the boys happy.
Seems like that, isn't it? Whoever's got the higher salary pays, you're absolutely spot on there. Jack, any questions for Kiwi Spur here?
I know you mentioned Brennan Johnson there. Are you a little bit worried that he might start him? Because Dave and I just think, if they're going to play a defensive type of low block, negative type of setup, AZ, I just don't think that suits Brennan Johnson. Maybe you feel differently, but are you worried he might start him tomorrow?
I am a little bit. My favorite time of Brennan is when he comes on as a sub. I think he's a good impact sub. I remember I go back to Newcastle. He got that goal and picked the tempo up. He's good at picking the tempo up of the team. So I have no idea why Ange starts him personally. I think he's more of a super sub if you use him in that way. I would go Odebert personally. I just feel that sometimes when we break the lines and then we push, we're just too slow and we let the defense sit. And again, when the ball gets to Johnson, we need someone just bang on, ready to attack the fullback and make a cross or cut inside and shoot. So, I really worry for Ange. Again, this will fall back on him. He's got some options in order, but he didn't have options before. He's got to nail it. You know what I mean? So, let's see what I mean. What was it? One of the games I can't remember, but it felt like Ange was about to get sacked, and then he made the changes. And we won the game. I can't remember which game it is, but I felt as though he's when he was under the pump, he did change. But this is really it. So we're going to see everything. I want to see Ange like he's a blooming, London Symphony Orchestra, like conducting. I want him out there. Like,
do you buy into the body language stuff? A lot of people say, "Oh, you can't buy into that." Personally, I kind of like it when a manager is, at least, kind of shouting at his players and stuff. I get motivated by that personally.
Yeah, no, I do, man. I want to see him out there just, even if you're faking it, fake it till you make it. Just pretend you're doing stuff,
I agree.
It makes people feel as though that you're really managing. I don't know. I used to do that when I coached basketball. I just pretend to,
exactly.
Inside, but really, I don't know what I'm doing. So,
no, I said that to Dave the other day. Sometimes it's like, even if Dave has even said that sometimes like managers will even at halftime, you might be playing well and you're expecting him to, be super happy with your performance. And all of a sudden he's like, absolutely going through a guy, screaming at him, "Oh, I need you to do this, this, and this." And, there are times when, it's that sort of player person, personal connection, kind of just the charisma.
A guy that the manager can rely on and knows can to take it. Do you know what I mean? Like, for instance, you hear some of the class in '92. He used to use the likes of Ryan Giggs or your Gary Neville's. One of the senior members that he had a relationship with. That even if they were winning and it was a tight enough game, he could walk in absolutely rollick. They knew what he was trying to do. They took it on the chin and they walked out, and it sort of got everybody else up around him. I've even heard Gary Neville say, he's given someone like Nani a free pass as being useless, bollock someone else, and all of a sudden Nani comes out a new player in the second half because it's like, well, if he can be bollocked. You know, I'm fucking lucky, you know, and I think, but again, I think the team are too reliant on managers at halftime. You know, it almost seems like in the first half sometimes when things are going wrong, they're sitting there, they don't know how to solve it, and they're waiting to get in at halftime. That's not right. There should be some problem solving on the pitch to a large degree. And at the end of the day, I don't even want to hear these players moan that Ange Postecoglou hasn't listened to them, because some of these players were here under previous regimes and moaned when they got on top of them and bollocked them and stuff like that. And we're bollocking them on the sideline and stuff like that. So for me, I just think we've got a culture of whatever manager we've got, the players will say they want the opposite. You bring that guy in and then they'll switch to the opposite side. I think you've got a really bad culture within the dressing room that sort of just does what they want. And I think that makes it hard for any manager to really, like you said there, I think last week, Jack, brilliant word, stamp down any authority really to a large degree.
Yeah, it's authority.
Like, you think you are, Tosser? You're out the door. Get the next guy in. You know what I mean? And I think that's sort of the culture, you know, in and around Tottenham. So I do think, you know, if you're a manager, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. For instance, under Conte, people are moaning that they spent too much time on the training pitch defending corners, even though we're conceding from them every week at that point, defending corners and stuff. And then under Ange Postecoglou, you have Dyer moaning that they're not doing any defensive work. But that was the same fucker that came out under Conte moaning about spending too long on the training pitch, you know, defending throw-ins and corners and stuff where they're conceding from them all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Look, well, what I love about Ange, and even if he fails and bombs, he's revealed a lot about the fan base. He's revealed a lot about people due to his silence or lack of change. Like, I think players that, you know, you start hearing about players whining and stuff. These little weeds are starting to become apparent amongst the fan base, and people, we're starting to see, oh no, the players are actually, you know, there's no problem solving players. Like, I think what I learned from Ange is, and maybe he's a bad manager, but due to his silence, you're able to see the actual players themselves and if they're good players or not.
Yeah.
Sometimes managers overcompensate for the lack of players, and the same for the fan base. Everyone's complaining and crying. He's almost like let it all play out due to his silence. And I think, like, if it all falls apart, then that's a good thing, because we need change ultimately. And I mean, he's probably been the most bravest person to never change his tactic, and it's suicidal in many ways, and pretty much be silent in that process and say to everyone, well, what are you going to do about it? And put the pressure back on the players. So I find it quite, I know a lot of fans will hate it, but if, like, let's be honest, man, this you guys have talked about it, but we're going to blow this whole thing up really. And maybe if Ange is, you know, he's caused the protests, or he's made people, you know, a lot of whining, you know, he's created a culture of whining and complaining, and he's the worst manager ever and all those types of things. It's like, you know, I think it's a good thing. You got to take the pain, you got to take the hurt. The kid, you know, the kids can't, you got to teach the kids, they got to cry, and mummy's not going to be there all the time, you know.
Do you know what? I think you absolutely raise a great point there about the fact that he does stand off from players during games. It does give you a wide eye-opening view of, you know, what players can actually sort of, you know, are self-motivated to a degree, or even a born winner where they're bollocking people and stuff like that. And I think you're absolutely spot on. I think from what we've seen on the pitch, you really lack that to a large degree. Someone that's willing to stand there and say, look, things aren't going right. Forget about the manager. You're being a prick. You buck up your ideas and stuff like that. You know, I think you're absolutely spot on in terms of that degree. And I also think, to a large degree, the fact that Postecoglou's coming in different style of football, and we still, to a degree, some are suffering the similar, you know, like we have under Jose Conte and Nuno. I think you're right. Absolutely does expose the ownership to a large degree as well. I think you're absolutely spot on there. But man, I'd love to sit here and chat to you all evening. I really would, but I do have to get going to make my appointment this evening. But it's been an absolute pleasure, and please don't leave it so long next time. You know, I've said to you before,
I'll try to
speak to you more.
It's just the time differences and all.
Yeah,
that,
I get it.
Yeah, true.
David, Jack, thanks as always, man. And thank you for your time, and you guys are doing amazing work, as I always say. And I'll try my best to get on again. But big up everyone in the chat. Hey, let's go in positive vibes tomorrow, man. Come on, you Spurs. Let's just do our best. And hopefully we hit a rich vein of form. Some guy, you know, the energy picks up. But let's not give up. You know, we still got to be positive about it. And thank you for your time.
Absolutely spot
Great
on.
Call, Levon. Great call.
Yeah,
man.
big up, Levon. Really appreciate it. And look, hopefully we see each other tomorrow, or through the chat or whatever, and we're big smiles on our face, man. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs, guys. See you
soon,
Come on,
buddy.
you Spurs. Great job, Levon.
Bye-bye. You know what? Weirdly, Jack. First of all,
some great calls at the end there, I must say. Yeah.
first of all, I want to give Levon his credit. You know, absolutely great points made there. But in general, do you know what, Jack? I was sort of, not in a way dreading the fan show, but anticipating a very negative mood around it. But although people have the problems with Tottenham and Postecoglou and the squad, everyone's still sort of saying the same thing. Let's go in tomorrow all united and let's see what we can do. You know, with the fans and the players and manager are asking us to support. Okay, we'll go and do our job. Once we do our job, it's over to you. Let's see what you can do. And I think, you know, in a way, and I think a lot of people have made some good points tonight, some interesting points as well. And that's what these shows are all about. So I want to say thank you to absolutely everybody. Sorry, Jack, I cut across you rudely again. You want to say
No, I think you said pretty much what I was about to say. I thought everybody did really well. I know we're on kind of a different schedule in terms of fan shows the past week, 2 weeks. In the way that Dave and I saw it, like, these are the most important games. So we were going to do the fan show kind of right before, you know, the game unfolds instead of, you know, waiting a few extra days until it actually happens. So hopefully you guys understand. Maybe more of a hybrid schedule for next week in terms of, you know, all the content and everything. So look out for that. But as always, thanks guys for all the support you guys show us and all the love that you've been showing us, members, everybody involved. And we're riding through these storms, these roller coasters together. And, you know, we hear all opinions. You know, Dave and I are very, you know, we're very expressive. You know, we have our strong opinions about things. But as you can tell, you know, people come on with their own ideas, their own sort of ways of looking at things. And it's nice to hear them out. And like Sean said, you know, maybe in the very, very beginning of the show, Sean Maddox said, you know, want to hear some new opinions.
Yeah,
and, that's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. So
yeah, absolutely spot on. And guys, just quickly as well, fan show Monday, I don't think will be happening this Monday. It's Paddy's Day. I'm Irish.
That's right.
Jack's got Irish in his blood as well. So, you know, you won't see us around Monday, potentially Tuesday. We'll wait and see anyway, but no fan show this Monday, but we will do something with you guys anyway, that's for sure. But guys, go and enjoy Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. I'll go off and do what I need to do. We'll all reconvene back here tomorrow and cheer on the mighty Tottenham Hotspur, and hopefully we prove we're mighty. Have a good evening. Come on, you Spurs.
See y'all tomorrow. Big day.
See y'all tomorrow.
Huge day. See y'all tomorrow, everybody.